right, here we go. Welcome to the first live stream of Comic Query. My name is Brendan. I am part of the Comic Query comic book search engine development team. And we've got an issue on the site right now, and I just thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and kind of walk you through what the process is on Comic Query. And talk a little bit about the site as I go through here and make a couple of updates, do a little testing, and so you can kind of see kind of the tools I use to build the site and how I work. Of course, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and add them to the chat. Would love to have this be interactive. So certainly don't be afraid to jump in with any questions you might have about the site, about the process, about comic books in general. Hopefully you can see from behind me, I am a comic book collector and a fan. And so, we can use the next probably about half an hour, 40 minutes, we'll see, to go through the process of making a change and hang out. So the goal for this session is to look at a problem that I'm having where there is a particular title and its books are readily available on Midtown Comics, but they're not showing up on Comic Query. And let me minimize myself here and start sharing my screen. Kind of show you what I'm looking at. All right, so let's bring this in here and go to Midtown. So this is December 14th, 2020. And we're going to look at 7 secrets. So I guess the title is a little misleading, but hopefully you kind of appreciate it and understand. The title 7 Secrets from Boom Studio. Bring it up here. So this is what I would typically do when I'm looking for books. Just go right to the store's homepage. And as you can see here, there's plenty of issues available. Scroll all the way back, keep going. Additional printings, issue number 2. Here's issue number 1, incentives. And then it starts to get into some other matches. So with Midtown, we're looking at any match. So pluralizing secrets here is the same as it being singular. So it's returning other things that we may not be looking for. In some cases we are, but not in this case. So again, plenty of inventory here, plenty of issues. All right. Let me just update the chat. Now, if we launch Comic Query, what we see here is the search bar. You can type right into it. Maybe this is something that start taking some notes as I go through this. This might be something where I might want to start making some changes. So right now off the bat, with a desktop situation, that search bar is sitting there right in the middle, but could probably enlarge it a little bit or move something around and put some more content on the home page. So you'd have the ability to type in right here and just say 7 secrets. You can do that. Now it's going out to the database to figure out if there are any issues of 7 secrets available. And certainly there are. There's quite a few. 149 issues found across the stores that we include in our index. Now, what I noticed is when I filtered on Midtown, I'm not getting any results. If I filter on Hanahan, there are plenty of copies available. So this filter is pretty powerful, right? So you can type in, like, under for the condition you want to see new, are there any listed as NM for near mint, or we can just type it out near mint, and it's filtering all of this on the client side using a data tables plugin. But there's nothing for Midtown. So in this case, I need to write some unit tests. So one of the things I'm proud of as part of Comic Query is there's a very extensive unit test layer. So if stores are making changes to their inventory, how they display inventory, any of the data feeds that I receive, if there's any changes within the feed itself, I'm able to go in there and just run all of my tests all at once. And then we can do that. And I'm then reassured that any change that I'm going to make is going to work when I publish my changes. One other thing I'm going to do real quick, I want to let's see if I can mention on Twitter that I'm live here. So I'll be honest, this is my first time streaming with StreamYard. So I'm kind of getting to know StreamYard as well. So let me see if I can find something here. I wonder if I have to go to probably YouTube, I imagine. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to figure out a way to automate this because this is rather tedious and boring. But basically, I just wanted to let people who follow me online this pretty much goes against everything that I'm trying to do by actually manually putting together a tweet right now. All right. Let's see how that goes. I've been getting more reactions and interactions on Twitter than Instagram with Comic Query, trying to let people know about the service that we're creating. Let's see if that helps promote it. Okay, so back to the issue at hand. Again, why are we here? We want to get 7 secrets into the Comic Query search results, but for some reason there's a breakdown with how I'm looking at the data from Midtown Comics. Again, plenty of product here, plenty of issues. So let's start looking at the code. So what is the approach? The approach then that I take is more test driven. So all of these spec files here at the left, these are my groups of unit tests, and I group them by store or by type. So in this case, I've got a utility that I also test. But from the ground up, everything sort of began with developing the tests first. That's basically test-driven development 101, is create the test, get it to work, or let it fail and start to build things around it that would eventually get the test to pass. So I'm going to open up my Midtown unit test file, and I have a lot of tests happening here. And what I want to do is simply say that if I'm going to perform a search, just like I do here with Justice League, we want 7 secrets to be a search term that we pass, and then essentially look at those results and make sure that it's not empty and that there are 7 secrets issues that are actually present in the search results. So search term, this can be named anything I want. We'll just call it 7 secrets. And I'm going to borrow one of my other tests. This one, get a list of product IDs for the search term. And these are collapsed. Drop this down here and then expand it. So what I want is get a list of product IDs for the search term, 7 secrets. And then I'm going to skip these for now. First of all, we set this solid being developed in Node.js with JavaScript. I'm using the Mocha test framework. And I only want this test to run. I want to search here on using my Midtown library. I want to search for the term 7 secrets. I want to get the product IDs associated with that search. And then go ahead and evaluate the results. So I want to make sure that the length is greater than 0. And these I'm going to skip for now. Well, I'll come back to these. So I can say skip. I'll explain those two here in a second. So assuming this is the only test that's active, and I can do this and say .only. Add something for Frankie's Comics I was testing today. Take that off. So now this is the only one that's running. Okay. Okay, I was going to use a different term. I can just use the terminal here within. This is Visual Studio VS Code. Visual Studio Code is free, which is fantastic. So I'm going to run my test, and it should only pick up that single. Again, things you learn when you're streaming for the first time. I had that that bar about sharing the screen up. Okay. So we got an error here that basically said the list of IDs for the search term 7 secrets, I'm expecting it to be greater than 0. And it came back as 0. It's these tests in blue I'm skipping. So something's going on here where I'm trying to essentially get here. Let me go back to Midtown. This will be easier to explain. So within Midtown, each of these products has a product ID, and it's just here in the URL. So what I want to do is make sure that I'm getting every appropriate product ID, and that these IDs match 7 secrets. So in a way, I can go ahead and grab some of these IDs. So my method to retrieve the IDs should actually include these. So yeah, let's create variables for these. All right, so seven secrets. And what was this? I think it was issue 5, just the standard issue 5, right?
Someone's at front door.
Oh. Somebody just rang our doorbell and ran. It's like a little Christmas elf. Okay. Sorry, I'm watching my front door camera. Okay. 7 secrets number 5, standard cover A. So what I like to do is name the variables the same. So 7 secrets, 5, cover A. Product B is that. We want to make sure that this is included. List of product ID should include that. And cover A. What I want to do is find a product ID that I do not want in the results. So we go back and scroll down. Let's go back again. Some of these that were being returned, we don't want. How about Flashpoint Secret 7? So this ID should not be part of the results. Capture that ID. And sorry, I keep jumping back and forth. Flashpoint Secret 7 number 1. I'm just going to copy that so I can remember. And we'll say, convert that to a variable, friendly name, Flashpoint Secret 7 1 product ID. Now, this is the product ID that I do not want in there. So should not include that. Now we can expand these and make sure it's there. So with these 2 additional tests, which I'm going to enable now they're going to fail. The second one, or I should say the third test here, this will pass because there's nothing included right now. So if I run the test again, right, so we've got product ID not including, what was it, 7, Flashpoint Secret 7 number 1. That's passing because the item objects are empty. So when I say I want to get all of the Midtown Comics that match 7 secrets, it's not finding anything. Okay. So how do we fix that? Well, before we do that, I want to make sure that the changes I made to the testing objects are committed. So I'm going to add these files and commit my changes to say testing setup for 7 secrets, because I know no matter what, I want those new tests to be there, regardless of any changes. They're important. Okay. So if we go back to the library file now, this is where I have to do a little bit of debugging. Opening up the Midtown library. And I want to find this. Now, what's happening here is it is attempting to get every product within a certain class. there's a class of objects, and I want to get all of the items within that class. And then I'm doing some data parsing on that feed. Okay, so where to begin? As each of these library files have grown, and I think I started with Midtown or Mile High for my first couple to build it as a proof of concept, and then eventually it turned into a full solution. I left out a lot of debug statements or some other helper utilities. So as I go back and add tests and so forth, I do refactor some of the code. So there will be opportunities to always improve the code, or in this case where I've got a utility getting the issue number from the title instead of a bunch of other parsing code. So this is the method build product ID from search. It's passing the search term URL. So this is the generic sort of search, if you will, that allows me to go in and figure out what is going on with the search and why products aren't being returned to match the feed. So right here it says, I'm doing this silently. Maybe in this case, let's turn that off so we can actually see some information. Okay. So it's indexing all of the 7 secrets search results right now, or at least attempting to. So you can see 56 of 62. Going back here, I'm not going to count every search result, but there were quite a few here. This probably leads me to believe that there are that many hits. It says there are 34, not quite 62. So maybe it's not accurate. It's also potentially going through the class, so maybe it's not necessarily finding a product necessarily. Okay. So the search term will be the series, and expect the series to be at the start of the HTML product title. So the HTML product title is essentially, whatever the string is within the web page itself. And if it cannot find the search term, so this is probably where the breakdown occurs, possibly. There could be additional white space with Midtown, and this is one of those opportunities where I've actually cleaned this up. So I have some utility functions that I've written that looks for a match between the product title and the search term. So this is most likely just failing every time. And it's not able to, because we're iterating over the list of the products that are returned. It's telling me that it's indexing Midtown Comics, but it's not actually entering anything here, in here. Okay. So I'm just reading this again to see what approach I want to take. So you got the term, the index, right, of length. Now I don't necessarily have the title data. So let's spit that out to the console. Seven secrets. So it looks pretty straightforward. That's a full title. So we know that product title data is the full title. Now I have a utility function, but I haven't yet made use of the utilities yet. So let's do this. I want to replace this, the utility I wrote, util dot series and search term match. In this case, we need the series. Let's just put a placeholder and search term. Now, we don't have series yet. In order to do that, a new variable for series. And from the utility, we'll say get series title, title data. And we're going to also output that to the console. Run it again. Okay, tests are still failing. So what's happening? So in this case, we're calling the index. It is returning the full title. It's able to retrieve what we're calling the series, which is basically what appears here on the left-hand side before the issue. And unfortunately, still, the series and the search term are not matching. So otherwise, I'm pretty sure it would be in here. It's possible it's still failing at this condition on 216. And so we're going to check that. So I'm pretty confident that the rest of this is working. So I'm going to leave the console logs on. And again, it's almost like it's checking twice. If the search term, it's funny. It looks honestly like it was trying to look at two different conditions. Let me read the comment again. If the search term will be the series and expect the series to be at the start of the HTML. Justice League Volume 4 should be found in Justice League Volume, but not in Justice League Volume 2. Okay. To me, it looks like it's doing the same thing. So it's possible that I did fix it, but then it's still failing on the old one. I'm just trying to eyeball what I commented out here, just to see if I'm missing something. So the product title data was set to lowercase, and the search term is inside it. Go ahead and pass. And then I'm doing an exact match. So I'm saying, does it exist? And then I want to match. I think that's redundant. I think all I need is this. And we'll go and confirm this here in a second. So I'm going to take this out. It's kind of the same thing, in my opinion, especially with this new utility function where I'm able to get the series and then find a match. But before I just completely wipe it out, let's just comment it out. Let's see what that does. Run it. Still failing. Okay. So same result, indexing 7 secrets number 1. It's finding the issue that we're going to work on, 7 secrets number 5, cover C, incentive. Oh, I'm sorry, we're working on cover A. So it finds cover A too later on in the results. Okay, So now I want to make sure that this is still returning true. Series and search term match is true. And the test again. Okay, so it definitely matches there. So its search is true, and then it should fall off, right? So now we've got flashpoint pin bag. These are not comic book items. So we know we're in here. So right here is a typo. Check to make sure the issue number is within the volume's range. Now this is interesting. This may be it right here. What does that mean to me? The volume range is essentially the issues where Howard the Duck just liked my post on Twitter about me going live. The issue within range simply means I have a book, I've got an issue. Is the series that I'm working on, does that make sense in terms of the issue number falling within that volume? Now, the first thing I will notice here, and I think this is where the bug is, it is trying to find the issue within the range on the series master. Now, if I do a scan for series master, it's up at the top here. And I'm saying the series masters get series master from the search term, which I assume is 7 secrets, but for me, it's safer to do it with the series. So I'm going to actually pull this out. Call the series here, series from title. No, I can't do that. Get series master. This is something I need to check. So let's output this so we can make sure that we're working with the correct series master. So the series master is what I'm calling the series, and the actual series is what the store is calling the series. So the series is not defined. I think I just said series and my iPhone, I said series. Let me get this back where it needs to be. Okay. Okay, run this again. Yeah. Series master. Series master. Yeah, so this object down here is the series master. This is a data map that maps the actual series. Again, this the parent series. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's essentially what I'm trying to normalize a lot of this information. So looking at the name, I'm calling this 7 Secrets 2020 from Boom Studios. And the issue run in volume 1 started on August 12, 2020 from issue 1. Now, this is the appropriate series master object, but don't know if issue within range is working here correctly. So let me see what this does when I output it. Okay. That I'm betting it's looking for the series master name. Yeah, it's all false. Okay, I think we found our problem. In this case, it is issue 5, right? 7 Secrets, number 5. We've got the different cover options, A through D. But that utility where it says is the issue within range is false. So we've definitely found our bug. Now, what I've been doing is I've been going back to my utility library and looking at some of the areas where I'm not getting good code coverage. So in this case, this is issue within range is not passing. So I'm expecting this to be true and it's not. So that's a great candidate for another test. So if we go back here into the utilities, we're going to write a test in here. That one. And the test is going to be issue within range, 7 Secrets, number 5. We're going to store the result. It's a Boolean, issue within range. Also rename that symbol, but I'm just eyeballing it. So we're going to return a new promise from the resolution, issue within range, and the utility is .is issue within range. We'll just table these here for a second. Series map, and the issue number is 5. Resolve, and then we're going to say that we expect that the issue within range for 7 Secrets number 5 is true. You just kind of think about what that test is and what you want it to be. So expect the issue within range to be, there's a shortcut here, you say to be true. Okay. We also want to run this test, so I'm going to add the dot only. I'm actually going to go back to the Midtown one, take this off for right now because I just want to see the output of that. Now, this is going to bug out because series map is not defined. So if we go back into our console, which you might say, why are you sending so much stuff out to the console? Because I can use it. So get that. And that will be my series map object for the test. We'll say let series map equal that. And just to clean it up, I don't need these other stores in the map. Now I can already kind of guess why this is failing. I'm betting that in the series map, the issue within range may not be expecting an array and may just expect the series to be a string. I don't know if you caught that before, but you can see the series here. There was some original code where stores like Midtown and things from another world were listing their titles a little bit differently. So 7 Secrets might have been the number 7 in Secrets. And so I wanted to have an array of series or a collection where it could have been either or in that situation. So that's sort of leftover code, but nonetheless, it's there. Okay, so now we've got our series map set. Now the test should run. my expectation should still fail here. And this is fine. This is all part of the process. This is test-driven development. Okay, so now we can go into the code and look at issue within range. And we've got a lot of conditions here. So series master.volume. So the first thing I notice, it is expecting the object. That's fine. Series master volume, issue from, and issue to is greater. Now with this series map, because it's not the series is ongoing, so there is no the issue run is only from, so it's not to. So if there is an issue to, then it's a hard stop. So I need to modify this utility. So this is still good, where we're saying if there's a volume, if there's not a volume, or the volume exists, and then there's this other information. So just to break it up and make it look a little bit more readable, we're going to say if that, or that, and if this can be actually easier to read. I don't know. It might be not. But anyway, to me, this is a little bit more straightforward, where I can break up the conditions here. So if there's no volume information, I don't worry about it. But if there is, then I definitely want to figure out. Now, again, what we need, another condition, the other condition we need to evaluate is if there's no issue run. So as long as the issue number is greater than the issue from, which in this case it is, 5 is greater than 1, then we're good. So that, as long as that happens, and this is where we'll set it. So in this case, we're going to do this, because we want to say, and the issue number is greater than 2. Add this one first instead, where I will say if it doesn't exist either, I don't care. I'm not explaining that let me type out the code, then I'll explain it. Series master dot volume dot issue run dot to, if it doesn't exist. So I always want to check the from. So if there's a volume in the map, there's going to be an issue from. And I started this about halfway through, where I thought it would be useful to have some issues where we've got the issue run. I do picture Comic Query being one of the comic book databases that people rely on for hopefully as accurate as information as possible in terms of titles and collections and issue runs and dates and things like that. That's one of the goals, is trying to fix that problem. The problem being that every store doesn't have that sort of database in the background. So I'm going to have that database. So as I'm looking at the data, and I took a snapshot of that data, that database as a series map, in this case for 7 Secrets, I do allow for a non-existent book issue number, rather. Let me say that again. I do allow for a non-existent end issue. So if there's an issue run with a beginning and an end, I just leave off the end, because we don't know if it's a mini series, that's great. Otherwise, it's an ongoing. So 7 Secrets, as far as I know, is ongoing. It could be a mini, I don't know, but the issues are still coming out. So in that regard, I don't care about the issue 2 in this case. So I'm just going to say if it's not present, or if it is, then I need to evaluate the issue number. So now if I save this, Visual Studio did a little formatting for me. Go back and I run my test. Should pass. Cannot read property issue run of undefined. I did this before. I misspelled volume. Let's try it again. There we go. So this passes. So 7 secrets number 5, according to the series data map that I have, now passes. So now that this test has been written, we've gotten down to a very, very specific. I can write that is issue within range back as a single line if I wanted to clean it up or refactor it in some way later. But now I know that that method is working. So now I can go all the way back out to the actual Midtown index, and I'm pretty much banking that series match, that search is going to work. Okay, so now we've got that test. So let me see what files I have open. I only want to add this file, just that utility. Oh, I'd like to add the test with it. That's always going to be a developer preference. It's just how granular do you want those commits? Commit completed test for is range 7. Okay. Now I'm just back to my Midtown tests. I did forget to take the only off. That's fine. Midtown. Back. Okay. So in theory, I should be able to run this and it will pass. However, I did start replacing some of that. So there's part of me that says, let me just undo all of this, because really, here's where the problem was. It wasn't so much in the search matching. Sorry, I just got a text here. Okay. So we know that the problem really was with the is issue within range. But I do like the fact that I'm using some more utilities. Now, the risk is, did this change affect other things, other areas of the application? Again, this is where those tests come in handy, because then I can run all of the tests all at once. So I feel like it's worth trying. If the tests start to vomit errors, then I might be inclined to go ahead and put it back the way it was. But for now, it's pretty good. The only thing I will do is I'm going to comment out these console out calls. I don't think I need those for this. Let's run the test and just see what happens. Sure enough, all 3 are passing. I want to get rid of that output. Sorry, putting in my order for dinner. Okay. All right. So let me go back to the Midtown test. And let's make this silent. And just trying to clean up one thing at a time. So we can see now these tests all passing. It's still outputting that series map. So okay, this should be clean now just with our passing tests. All right, so Midtown library, get the list of product IDs when I'm searching for 7 secrets. and I do expect to find hits on that search when I'm scanning the feed, and it should definitely include the product ID. I think that we associated with 7 Secrets #5 Cover A, and it should not include one of those other products that we didn't want to include, and that's part of the issue, right? So if you're searching one of these online stores, they want to return more results than possibly what you're expecting to see, because they want you to see more product. I don't believe that collectors, especially comic book collectors, the way that we work, I don't believe that that's the case. I think that getting too many results is confusing and annoying. I would rather have trust and faith in the results. And again, this is one of the reasons why Comic Query exists, because I want to make sure that I have trust and faith in the results. Now, not every book ever created that's available in every store is on Comic Query. I do realize that, but those that are, you can trust those results. Okay. So this is working now, even with all of these utilities in here. So the last thing to do is to turn on all of the tests for Midtown. And see what breaks. All right, here we go. So this is the big one. So this is going to take about a minute. I go through every unit test I have. So far, it looks like green check marks. All right. Okay, so we did have a couple things fail here. All right. So for Midtown, oh, we only had 2. So I have 366 tests just for Midtown. 3 are failing. Now, for some reason, this Batman book has caused me trouble where the release date changes in the feed from time to time. So one thing I do with my unit tests is I'm always trying to spit out any information that could be interesting to me if I'm testing. So in this case, this is the product ID. And a lot of times I'll just look it up manually on Midtown. So let me just pull up one of these guys. And yep, this is, for some reason, this date keeps changing. Probably because it's a dynamic forces. Maybe it never came out. I don't know. So the release date for this item is December 23rd, 2020. If you believe it. I swear, I should probably just find another test, but it was one of the first ones I wrote. So if I look at the results and it's looking like it's expecting 12/16, here it is. And this is the book we're working on, ending in 91, and it has been updated. I swear it just keeps moving. Okay. Now this is another one. Well, let's do one at a time. So now if I run this again, this should pass. I don't want to run them all. I'll just run just that one. Okay. So that one passed. Now prior to that, returning series undefined, series master should equal Batman, but it's not. I think I said there were 2 errors. It looks like there's 3. All right. Which project am I looking at? Batman Volume 3, Director's Cut, number 1. Now, this is, I think, why I had that additional code in there, and I'm glad I didn't blow it away and I just commented it out. What I first do is I say, does the title exist anywhere? So I'm expecting Batman books to say Batman Vol 3, number 1, number 2, and so forth. But again, Midtown, they do what they want and have put Director's Cut in the title somewhere. And if I remember right, this is exactly why I wrote that code a while back. So it's right here where I say if it's in the index of. So if I go back to this, take this one out, and then I say check to see if everything to the left of the issue number matches the title. I still feel like it's redundant. But let's put it back. Let's see what happens. I feel like it's going to fail no matter what, but so 1575044. Okay, it's this test. Yeah, so it cannot find the correct series master. It finds everything else. It thinks the series is this. And this is why I had multiple series matches in Midtown. So rather than mucking up the code even more, well, there's 2 choices here. I can add an additional string to the series array or remove things like Director's Cut. I'm more inclined to remove Director's Cut because I feel like that's sort of common. And I do have a utility that I wrote that removes unwanted things from the title when you're trying to do a match. It's kind of stupid. Remove unwanted characters really should be renamed remove unwanted phrases. But I don't want Director's Cut in there anymore. Run it again. Still can't find it, but I bet I'm just not calling this get series master. Series clean. Series to find. So this should work. It's calling the remove unwanted characters. Now if I go back to Midtown and I look at the actual getting of the item, saying that it's undefined. Series, Midtown Comics. Okay, get series master. This is returning undefined. So again, time for another test. Hopefully this is the last one. And I had something recently for Westfield. Again, it's a lot of variances between the titles and the story. Series name should be Batman for Midtown Comics. When series is, and what was this name? That is the series. Okay. Series master and passing that down. Series master should be, these should be variables too, by the way. Well, no, these are fine. That's what I want it to be. Okay, let me go back to the Midtown item, turn this one off on the test. I've not had a single viewer this entire stream. That's fine. It's good for me. Okay. Oh, I see. The whole file is still on. Let me kill this too. Okay. Okay, so it's definitely a problem with that. So just like before, got to dig into that process a little bit. Series. And let's see what happens after it's cleansed. Batman Volume 3. So it's removing the director's cut. I'm betting what happened is it's not trimmed. Remove unwanted characters. Am I trimming it? Unwanted. Nope. String not trim. There you go. So that was it. There was a little extra white space there. Good. Okay. Go back to here. Let's get rid of this. Again, anytime I make a change within one of the library files or methods, I like to run the whole file. I think I'm going to get some stuff with some currency conversion, and that's actually a little spoiler for a future update is I definitely recognize that different stores are in different parts of the world with different currencies. And one of the features that I'm going to add, I haven't decided if I'm going to let this go as just a registered account feature or if it's going to be in one of the few, they haven't been set up yet, but one of the paid tiers is your ability to not only just set your preferred currency, but in real time have it convert. Meaning if you, right now, if you search and a store like Forbidden Planet based in the UK, it will return information with the currency localized. And so if you wanted to set your preferred currency to US dollars, then it would go and list the price from Forbidden Planet in US dollars. So everything would be the same. Right now, it's mixed. So anyway, that's why this conversion chokes sometimes. So actually, let's fix this now while we're here. Expect 509 to equal 516. And I'm just going to switch it, 509. It's kind of cheating, but I understand why I'm doing it. Right. Current currency should not be current currency of 509 to from Canadian to USD should be 399. $3.99 from USD. Oh, was I editing the wrong one? Okay, let's do this in the proper order. Conversion of currency from $3.99 should be 516. So it's this test right here, and it's coming back as 509. Run it again. Okay, same thing. We'll fix that in a second. Converted currency of 516 should be 399, and it's 405. Where is that? $3.99 should be 405. This way, the whole library's tests are clean. Not really. This fluctuates depending on prices, exchange rates, stuff like that. So this will fail periodically anyway. But just while I'm on video, why don't I just spend the time and get it right? Okay. Everything's passing. It's still outputting the series name, series matching type stuff. So this is fine. Back to the utility library. Get rid of the console logs for series clean. Okay. Now finally, so that's a good stopping point. Let's look and see what files changed. I want to add this to that. So everything just related to the utilities. Commit. Including director's cut. Okay, I'll push that up. Okay. Getting closer. Thanks for hanging in there, although I'm alone. It's fine. Okay. Now, let's see. This should just pop last one I was working on. And this is that director's cut item. So now if I run this test, it's all green. It's all passing. Fantastic. I think there was one more that was failing. We're going to run all of the Midtown tests one final time. There's a test running where it's trying to get all objects within a range of IDs. I'm leaving that in there just for now, but I don't really use that anymore. All right. Look at that. After all of that work, hour and 10 minutes, 369 Midtown tests now all passing. There was some output that I want to clean up. I don't want to see the output there every time I test. Indexing Sandman. Let's see when Sandy is indexed. This one here. Let's make it silent. Run just this one. And that should still work. It just made it run silently. Yep, there we go. Okay. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. And we are done. Okay, I'm going to put in my commits. What did we do? We completed bug fix for 7 secrets where issue was found out of range in error. Okay, so the entire Midtown library has been updated. I want to go back and look at the code one last time. So we know it's working. I just want to look at it again. So I did end up leaving this in here. You know, I want to use those utilities. So I'm going to do this, get rid of that, and that should suffice. Go back one last time. Cross my fingers and run the tests. So far, so good. And even though this might seem tedious, like it's a lot of testing, it's a lot of changes, it may feel slow, like I'm trying to get one title into the database properly. But imagine trying to do this by hand. Imagine trying to visit a store, search for 7 secrets or any title, and have the results be inconsistent and dealing with it. These tests are a huge, huge time saver. So in this case, Salmon Volume 2 with product. Let's see what this looks like. There are times where just the inventory. Sandman Volume 2 Special. This is another director's cut problem. So is this a title? I don't know. You know, this is, if I had a live audience, I would probably ask them in the chat, what do you think? You know, is Sandman Volume 2 Special #1 its own series, its own comic book title? Or is it a special, like special number 1 within Sandman Volume 2? I'd have to do some research on it. But essentially what my test is saying is let's see, without 467150. Responding to a quick text. Product ID is not in this. Yeah. So product ID series, part of the title, but not in the series. Let's see what we got here. I'm probably being too thorough with this, but I don't know if that was the proper test. List of product IDs should not include. Yeah, this is not the test. Okay, it's this one. Here it is, right here. Okay, now run this. This is all I should get, is this one failing test. Expected ID 4671550 to equal undefined. Okay. List of product IDs should not include. So I think at the time I wrote this, I was saying that it is not part of the series. Item objects should be greater than 0. So it searches for Sandman Volume 2. List of product IDs should not include. This is the nuances of all of this. So I don't think I want that product in there. Sorry, I'm just trying to think about how I want to handle this. Volume 2 special to me, I think, is its own title, its own series. It's kind of the way that the comic book industry handles annuals. So I always thought when I was collecting that an annual was an extension of the series, but it's still within the series. So Superman Annual number 10 is part of Superman. But what I'm finding out as I research stores and how they organize their material, annual, it's actually a separate title, which I guess makes sense in a way. It just gets complicated. I don't have any annuals in Comic Query yet because it is complicated. Because an annual issue number could be a year. So it could be Superman Annual 1983. Or it could be a number. Or there could be several volumes of an annual attached to a single volume of a title. Because the annual is it's annual number 1. It's always annual number 1 because it's the year or the edition, but it's number 1. I think it's that guy's butt. Anyway. So it found that product in the get product IDs. So the reason it matched is because it matches here. And that's probably why I need that second search. So the first one says, is there a match? Meaning, does the series I'm searching on, like Sandman or Sandman Volume 2, right? It's essentially like going like this. So Dollar Comics, the Sandman Volume 2, number 23, is a different series. The series is actually Dollar Comics, or Dollar Comics, the Sandman Volume 2. The series is not the Sandman Volume 2. Dreaming Volume 2. Why is that in there? Because Sandman is somewhere in the Midtown description of the product. But here's a bunch of actual Sandman Volume 2s from 94. Midtown, the conditions are all over the place. So even if it's a very good or fine, I've gotten some 9.4s where they mark as fine or even very good. So they're worth gambling on. Maybe not for a $3 issue, but seeing all of these Sandman books in here, it's interesting. I would possibly consider, I mean, here's Sandman number 50. Very good for $2.67. That's not that bad of a price. You could probably find these in a lot somewhere, but A Game of You, one of the more popular Sandman runs. I mean, if you're just looking to put together a Sandman collection and then sell a lot, $2.24, not bad. I may have to come back here. Interesting. They have Volume 2, number 2, very fine. You might gamble on that one and have that one come back. It's hard to get a 9.8 from Midtown, but 9.6 certainly possible. Okay, I got off track, but I think now I know why I needed that second one in there, that second check. So right here. So that has to go back in here. See, that's what happens. You start taking code out, commenting it out, and you think, I don't need that for anything. And there's a case that I had long forgotten about. I run the test again. Passes. Go back. We're going to do this. I keep saying one last time, but, you know, it's funny. It's good the tests are here. Keeps you honest. So now all of the tests are enabled, but just for Midtown. Going to minimize, collapse all of these, save it. Let's run it one last time here. So far, so good. Still going. Love those green check marks. Still going, still going. 369 passing in 22 seconds. All that to add 7 secrets from Boom Studios to Comic Query. So now I'm pretty sure that when the next update happens for Comic Query, that the 7 secrets items will all show up properly this time, and all aggregated correctly under the series header of 7 Secrets 2020, which was the point of all of this. But you can see, you know, I wanted to meticulously go through and make sure that any code adjustments I made to get 7 secrets in there, it didn't affect other parts of the application. Now, if I had just made that one change with the issue and saved it and ran the updates sort of patched the system, if you will, that it would have affected other areas of Comic Query, potentially, at least for Midtown, or in some of those cases, those are utility functions that I'm messing with. It could have possibly added some additional bugs or catastrophic failures or exceptions for other areas of the application where it would just stop working. So I love working like this. This is, you kind of got a taste of how my mind works with this. I think it's important when you're developing this sort of custom application. This is not something that's a template that we're going to give to everybody. This is a very, very specific process around database and data curation. And so it's important to be accurate and precise because that's what you want as a comic book collector. You want to find the items. You want to have faith and confidence in what you're looking for. You want to look at conditions and prices and price trends and making the smart, intelligent choice. Do comparison shopping, looking at books online versus auction houses and so forth. So it's all part of the goal, part of the plan. If you want to see more of these, if you like it, please reach out to me on social media. Leave a comment on the video. It's a lot of code. If you're into that, that's great. Would love some feedback on that. Anything that you see, Comic Query will continue, and it will continue to be branded as a platform for the comic book collecting and investing community. And so it's really important to me to get this right, to have something useful for everybody to use every day instead of always running off to eBay. All right, we're going to end it there. Thank you all. Appreciate it. See ya.